I also, NLP is the corporate version of that.
Right.
But all that's doing is allowing me to serve the corporations. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yep.
So, you know,
Sometimes it's just a relabel that helps.
Yeah.
reframe. I reframe things all the time, right?
Mhm.
So I just want to say thank you,
My
Dr.
pleasure.
Cindy, for being here. I actually don't have words, but you're just a breath of fresh air. And um, I'm so grateful that I tuned into your presentation. Was it Emerson or was it Full Script?
No, it was Full Script. It's now one company. So
Right.
yes, it's now Full Script. Yep, which is an online dispensary. I sit on their medical advisory board. So
Well, and I distribute, right? So
right.
practitioners
Perfect.
and I love Full Script, and they're actually, I can't believe I'm saying this because I loved Emerson, but they're way better.
Well, you've got the best of, all that they have to offer now. So, they're elevating their game for sure. It's a great
Oh my
organization.
gosh!
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later. But
Okay,
in
sounds
any
good.
case, you know, um, supplements are available to you that are not on Amazon. Okay,
And shouldn't be on
and shouldn't
Amazon.
be because they
Yes,
can get adulterated while they're sitting in that warehouse. People.
correct. Yeah, stay off Amazon. Use your practitioners and their online dispensaries to purchase your products to make sure you're getting good quality and from the right manufacturer. It's very
Right.
important.
Yeah, and the big thing is, I mean, I know y'all don't are like probably have rose-colored glasses on like I did. You people go into that stuff when sitting on the shelf, they take it out and they fill it up with something else.
They do. Manufacturer labels. I mean, the stories are not great. So,
Yeah,
yeah, buy from your trusted professionals, please.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will touch base later today. I'll send you a message to get you up to date, and then we'll do a follow-up show. Sound
Sounds
good?
great. I love it. Thank you for having me. Thanks for everybody listening. And I know the two of you are going to have fun the next hour. So enjoy.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care.
Meeting you.
Bye.
Bye.
So, and then Dr. Babs, if you would kindly put your contact information in the private chat, we'll get everybody an easy way. By the way, you look absolutely
Oh, thank you.
brilliantly beautiful and delightful.
Thank
You know,
you.
that's the thing about you. So when I get to see you in person here in Georgia,
Yeah.
you shine.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And you know, I love you here. I always say it. I admire, it's just so rich. That just shows that the water you're drinking is definitely serving you good.
And I haven't washed it for days,
Oh,
actually.
it's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I wash it like once every 3 or 4 days, but it's with filtered water, and so that has a huge impact, as you know, on your skin health, your
Definitely.
everything.
Definitely.
So tell us why. So you're a medical doctor, right?
I am.
And but you shifted to
So,
holistic. This
yes,
this
I'm
has got to be a story. There.
yes, yes, yes. Still a medical doctor, but just practicing whole person medicine, not isolating and just diagnosing and putting a medication to go with it, getting more to the root cause.
And did you always intend on doing that, or did you shift afterwards, or what happened?
Yes, a great question. You know, when I reflect back on my journey, I've always had a tendency towards preventative. I've always had that mindset because, again, to your point, I love the conversation you and Dr. Cindy had. The body is capable of so much more. It's so unique. I just admire, and that's why I became a doctor, because it was just such a mystery how our body, the organs, how it moves. And so I always wanted to be a doctor to care for people. And then when I got into medical school, and all I was taught was disease and how to treat it. And where is how can we prevent it? That was my question all the time. And when I learned that background, I did a bit of that during my practice. I did group visits for diabetes because I'm a strong advocate of education. When we know better, we do better. And so if we know the root cause of a problem, we can avoid the medications. I mean, there's a place for medications, but how about that not being the first thing you look into. What about the root cause? So I've always had the tendency to be preventative, but unfortunately, because of the way we're trained, very slowly, you gradually become, the individual that 15, 20 minutes, you don't have enough time to get to the root cause. You've diagnosed, let's go ahead and give you a prescription. So
And it's gotten worse. I mean, sometimes the doctors are only allowed in there for 5 minutes. The nurse practitioner, or let's say the whatever their title is, they're
yes,
gathering all the information. It then gets relayed, and the doctor's in there for 5 minutes, gives a pill, and they're done.
that's right. And
And
unfortunately,
I want to show people this screen if they're
yeah,
listening on Podbean versus let me just do this. Hold on. Okay. So look at these, look at these alliances. I mean, lifestyle medicine, and you are, you are a champion for health and for not following the crowd and for leading not only yourself in a way that allows you to rise up, but leading others.
yes.
And that's phenomenal.
Thank you. Yes, it all came from personal journey. And I realized that, if I'm not getting it in the current state that I'm in, I'm going to have to get that additional training, which I'm so grateful that the American College of Lifestyle Medicine had this wealth of information in how to treat our bodies with food. You mentioned it in your earlier session, food is medicine. And that really was the key. So even when I strayed away from my preventative side and I felt ill and wanted to heal back, being on 3 blood pressure medicines, I realized if I didn't get to the root cause of the problem, which was stress, unfortunately not caring for myself adequately, feeding on food as my emotional support, took ill, blood pressure high, 220 over 120. I would have had a stroke if I didn't take the medication at that point in time. Had 2 little babies. But then the medication didn't stop. It just kept increasing. My situation didn't get better. So I slowly phased out of that to learn personally, how can I treat my body? How can I heal it? Sometimes people feel it's too late, but it's never too late because I was able to get off those 3 blood pressure medicines.
Honey, I got you beat. I'm sorry. I was on 19 drugs.
Yes, I
Like,
was 19.
that's easy.
Oh my gosh, I know. And I really feel so much empathy when my patients come and they're multiple, refill this. And I said, don't you want to get one of 2 of these? I had a young guy come to me. He was barely 24. He was on 3, I think he was asking for his 4th blood pressure medicine. I said, what are we going to do about this? He said, how about give me a 4th one? I said, how about us look at your nutrition? I know, I was shocked. So unfortunately, it's the culture, and that's why I love the show that you do, because you're speaking out, you're sharing your testimony, and I'm just so glad to be able to connect with you, because people need to hear that the medication doesn't have to be their band-aid, right? There are other choices. Needless to say, this patient listened, and he was able to get off 2 of those medicines and was left with 1. So the whole culture now for doctors that are learning the other side of medicine, which is to heal their body as food and lifestyle, they are equipping patients to take a look inside, life habits, behaviors. How can we transform that to heal the body? And it's phenomenal. And I'm hoping that this will continue to grow as we have more people like you, like me, speaking out. Doctors are shifting because they're not happy just prescribing a pill. They really are not.
Well, so did you hear that conversation I had with the chief medical officer at the orthopedic center?
Yeah,
First of all, how God chose him, no idea, right? I mean, that was clearly a God job, because I didn't know any doctors out here. I am new from the Chicagoland area,
yeah,
and I honestly just looked at profiles online and channeled, like, ask God, where do you want me to go, right?
yes, yes.
And I ended up with the chief medical officer, and he is spiritual, and he knows that what he's doing was not in alignment with his spirituality, and he knew he was poisoning our children, and he needed to be called on it. And one of the things that I didn't mention is the other part of the message. I said, by the way, maybe I'm your first message, I don't know, and I'm here, and I said, if you don't do this, it's almost like you're going to get a spiritual 2x4
Yeah, absolutely.
that is going to come hitting you if you don't make these changes.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Because God's not willing to have people poison his children anymore.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, the scripture says he wants us to be in good health, even as our spirit is in good health, right? So he wants that whole person treatment. So as your spirit is in good health, your body, your mind, all of that is important. You can't separate it. So I'm glad that you spoke out. And that's what, when my patients tell me, oh, I'm sorry, I'm asking too many questions. I'm sorry, I'm asking for alternative. I'm like, that is what I want you to do. I want you to inquire. I don't want you to just sit back and just take anything that, your doctor prescribes to you. You want to be informed. Definitely.
So we're taught as kids, Dr. Babb, to be seen and not heard.
That's right. That's true.
That's damaging.
It is. It is.
So if we're told not to ask questions, how are we supposed to make an informed choice?
I know. Well, my guess is that's because the generation before us, that was just what they only know. They can only teach us what they know, right? What they knew. My mom would say kids are supposed to be seen and heard. That was what she knew. And you will be amazed. She has since mentioned, because coming from Nigeria, I'm originally from Nigeria, she's vacationed with us, and she sees my kids do not take anything sitting down. They question everything.
Love it.
They question everything. And so my mom tells them kids are supposed to be seen, and they question her. But she has actually realized that we're doing a disjustice to that time where you tell people to be seen and not heard. So she's actually excellent with it now. She has mentioned to me, I apologize, I'm the oldest of 4, and I heard that quite a bit. I apologize for any way I might have raised you. That was just the way I learned it. And she sees
right. We don't want to make our parents wrong.
We don't want to make them upset. Yeah. Right. So, but people are changing now. They're speaking up. What they need to change, though, is talking to their doctor, of course, respectfully, but let them know another side. Let them understand the root cause. Let them see how they don't live in your body. They know yourself best. So that is what this message is. Please advocate for yourself. Ask the question. Do not be afraid. Your medical doctors, yes, have a training, but they don't know everything. They don't live in your body. You know yourself. Please ask questions. Do not be afraid. And if your doctor doesn't listen to you, that's not the right doctor for you. I say that loud and clear. I wouldn't want to go to a doctor that wouldn't listen to me and listen to my complaints. So
and I'm looking down here because we got some questions, and
yes, awesome, very good.
So Charles Key says, can you speak about integrative medicine and how the mind-body connection is considered in treating disease?
Oh, yes. Great question. Thank you for that question. So when we talk about mind-body connection, oh, I love this. So
me too. It's my favorite thing.
It's my favorite thing. And this is all additional training that I got and experiencing it that I can speak so boldly about it. So the mind, I mean, when we talk about the brain house, the gut, we actually call it the core house. That is where all these hormones and neurotransmitters are all created. They're all formed in there. But how do they get formed? They have to be formed with good bacteria. So we have a good bacteria, we have the bad bacteria, which we call the microbiome, right? So it's just a house of, bacteria. Initially, when I heard we have bacteria in the gut, I was like, what do you mean by that? But we have trillions, and they all have an assignment. So if you feed it
their marching orders, right?
Oh, yeah, marching orders. If you feed it properly, it's just like in the field. If you have your soldiers and you feed them good food, then they're ready for battle. They will defend everyone. That's the same thing. So if we eat nourishing foods, right? So our plants, our legumes, our fruits, veggies, all those healthy things, the good bacteria is happy and it's ready to defend us. So we have things like serotonin, which is a good hormone that is created there. And with the brain, they're all connected. You feel good, you feel happy, so it's all connected. And then, of course, you have all the hormones, the insulin, all those things, they interconnect with the brain. So if your gut is happy, needless to say, your brain also will be happy. So it's not just putting the medication, because unfortunately the medications, when you put it, they're short-lived. They have side effects.
Well, they're actually disrupting your hormones,
They
right?
are. Yeah,
So your
exactly.
hormones aren't. Here's one of the things, it just like dawned on me that so when we are taking medication, the medication is, let's say, running the show, right? It's telling the hormones what to do, or
Yes.
telling some part of your body what to do, right? And then your body stops thinking on its own.
Mhm.
We're actually training the body, and we're disempowering the body.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the body doesn't know how to do what it's supposed to innately know how to do. And so when you get off these medications, I'm not telling you to do that, just saying. But if you choose this, you also have to give your body time to relearn what it's innately supposed to do. And it takes time.
Yes, yes. I mean, and that's why, to my point, it's really, I empower my patients. I tell them, if you have congestive heart failure, if you have end renal stage disease, there is a place. Unfortunately, I hope that we wouldn't get there. That's why I'm more preventative. But if you are there, don't use the medication as your sole answer, because it will have side effects. With antidepressants, when they go into the GI, you stress something very important. It actually tells your body not to create serotonin. So
Mhm.
you are disinhibiting your own natural serotonin, and after a while, it just doesn't even create any at all. So you can actually stimulate those good hormones, all those things that will make you feel good, whether it's your endorphins through exercise, whether it's your serotonin, your dopamine, all those things that you're relying on medication. You can actually supply those if your body is nourished in the right way. So we need to be attentive to how long we're on medication and to get to the root cause. My analogy is, if the roof is leaking and you don't repair the roof, what happens? You just keep mopping the ground. It doesn't make any difference at
You
all.
can actually get a flood.
Yeah.
I haven't really spoke about this on the podcast yet.
Okay.
But I feel like this is the time.
Okay.
So there's a patch out that I started using, and I'm going to pull it out. And there's a variety of different things, like Freedom, which is for pain,
Okay.
sleep, happiness.
What is in the sleep? It looks lavender. It's purple, right? So it has to be lavender,
Purple.
right? It has
Mhm.
lavender in
And I
it.
used the purple patch last night
Okay.
because I was struggling. I was a little hyper at night last night.
Okay.
And then I woke up this morning and
lavender
I'm like, I just don't have energy. I'm like, oh, need to take that patch off.
You were too relaxed.
Well, I was, yeah. Well, there's a Freedom patch, which is for pain, another one, which is for liberty.
Mhm.
But here's what's really interesting, and my favorite one here, which is peace, right?
Okay,
So
nice.
community, happiness, joy, all that.
Nice.
It doesn't have any ingredients. It's a neuro patch.
It's a neuro patch.
It's sending a signal
Yes.
to the brain about what it's supposed to do and how to do it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And what we did, my husband, there's also a Kick It patch, which is for addictions.
Okay.
And my husband, look, we all have addictions. Maybe
Oh,
not
yeah.
to alcohol or drugs, but we may have an addiction to a particular behavior that
Yes.
doesn't serve us.
Yes.
That was
Absolutely.
his, by the way. I did too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about him.
Yeah.
We had a behavior that wasn't serving him, and Spirit came to me and said, slap that patch on.
Wow.
Boom. So we slapped the Kick It patch on, but
Okay.
that's not where I stopped.
Okay.
I paired it with sound frequency that does a reset on the neural network of the brain, setting it back to baseline.
Right.
And so if there's a interference in your brain health, it'll remove that interference, and then the patch is sending the right signal that you actually do need. And not only did he kick that behavior, it didn't come back because we paired it with sound frequency.
Right, 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 right.
And so we had look, I only started using these patches a few months ago, and typically I like to really use things for a while
Yes.
before I start maybe offering them as a solution.
Hmm.
This is undeniable.
That's great.
Peace we can see a change in nanoseconds when somebody has a balance issue.
Right.
And first you muscle test them, like whatever, you put the patch on, you can't get them to get off balance.
That's fantastic.
It
Definitely, you
really
have
is,
your.
and I'm starting to really embrace it. And when you were talking about the signals,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like it's time to really let people know there's something out there, has 0 ingredients, so you can't be sensitive to it.
Mm.
Because coming from a background of having 165 food sensitivities, I'm I'm
Yeah, and a lot of people are sensitive. They are sensitive even to the medications they're taking. They are, but unfortunately, without knowing that there are other options, they don't understand. Like that great question about the mind brain connection. The brain is like our second stomach. They're all connected. They just rely solely on medication and not getting to other things that can heal the body naturally. So I'm glad that you mentioned it. I definitely will inquire more about what the peace and the kick out, because it's important for people to know that they have options and it's
well, and I
not
think it can be a great way, and I can't do that, but you can. You can help people. um I'm not a doctor, I'm a health practitioner, but I don't have that MD, and so I can't help people get off medications. You can, if it's for their highest good, right?
yeah.
And it just occurred to me now. I'm like, holy cow, like this could be a great solution, um, for an MD like yourself that is so well versed in all health options. I mean, like you're a walking almanac.
Oh yeah, I mean, my whole goal again, because I've lived it, I know there is tons of research that shares the information about diabetes reversion, prevention, and when I approach a patient, I ask them, do you want this to be managed or do you want this to be treated? If you want it to be treated, it is possible, but again,
Well, I reversed mine.
yes, I follow your story. I know you have, and that's fantastic. It's possible, but people just need. It takes time, I will say, but people need to be patient with the body again. But they also have to do the work. But you see, I've learned that a lot of times we tell patients or clients, well, lose weight, exercise, eat well, but we don't provide the skill, and that's where I'm different. I provide the skill because we naturally want to just do what is easy, what is fast. And the medication, pop a pill, it's going to do all the work. But when you provide people with the tool set, the skill, how do you do this? Then they're like, okay, yes, this is possible in this busy life that I have. My kids, my husband, my work. You show them how to do it step by step in terms of how to cook a veggie meal. I've had patients tell me I don't eat veggies because I don't have time. It's difficult to make. But the moment I explain and incorporate how you can have some bell peppers for snacks and other things, then all of a sudden they
You
know
take
how
a
to do
bite
it.
out of a bell pepper like you would an apple.
Yes, yes.
You
And
just
all of a
haven't been
sudden,
taught, and it's about shifting mindset.
right, it's shifting mindset and knowing how to do it. So providing the skill, and that's what in my practice I've seen has made the difference. So it's not that people don't want to; it's just they're busy and they can't figure it out. But when you share how you can use food as medicine, how you can embed those 3 servings minimum, I say, of veggies and your fruits, it makes a world of difference. So that's how you can treat disease. To answer the question, when you have that connection, your gut is healthy, then your brain is healthy, right? They say dementia is the diabetes of the brain.
It
Because
is.
unfortunately, with diabetes, is insulin resistance, the body is inflamed, and naturally the brain will be inflamed. And all the other pillars of health that I want to mention here, sleep is also important. So if
Huge.
you're sleeping well, your body is healing naturally. It's regulating your hormones, you're not overeating. So there are tons that I can speak of today. But all of that, the beauty of it is that it prevents, it treats, and it can reverse chronic diseases.
Well, and I want to mention one other really important thing, and that I want to speak a little bit more about the mind. Okay.
Yes.
As somebody who accesses consciousness and teaches about mindset and shifting mindset, which is the other group that we're in, that this is airing in, it's shifting mindset to reclaim your health.
Right.
Which I believe that's why I was able to reclaim my health. I was willing to look outside the box and play in I call the DK zone. I was willing to play in the zone of I don't know what I don't know, and I'm willing to actually listen to somebody else
Right.
who knows more and different than what I know. And my father always told me as a young girl, in business and in life,
Yes.
surround yourself with people who know more than you or know different than you.
Right. Yes.
Because you don't want people mimicking, like and being yes people, right? You want people who are going to disrupt. So with that being said, I have a story to tell. So it was in May of last year. I went to go train. I've been training under Dr. Josh Axe for many, many years.
Okay.
And I went to go meet him in person at his leadership conference, which didn't turn out as I would hope. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. And its ending is good. Okay. So listen for this ending, peeps. So my purpose, there was an opportunity to join his leadership
Okay.
team, not leadership team, his leadership group.
Okay.
Now, for me to decide to invest that kind of money, okay, I wanted to know whether or not his team liked or even would not necessarily endorse. I wasn't looking for an endorsement. Do you understand this concept? And can you guide me in this group and how to bring it to the world? And the concept was the place of peace. And the place of peace is a multimodal approach using a variety of different frequencies from different devices that does a reset on the neural network of the brain, bringing it back down to baseline, aligning the body with the Schumann resonance, and bringing in different plant-based essential oils that takes the brain out of fight or flight and brings in peace, place of peace.
Right.
He wouldn't hear of it. He wouldn't experience it for 10 minutes. He wouldn't talk to me about it. And I'm like, so if I just drove all the way from Georgia to Tennessee and you're not going to talk to me or listen or experience it, why would I invest my money to your group? Right? And so I actually asked for my money back and he gave it to me.
Okay.
Now, we all know that we don't know what someone else is going through.
Right.
We don't walk in other people's shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 30 days ago, Dr. Josh Axe gets on YouTube. Have you seen this yet? What happened to him?
No, I haven't seen. I mean, I do follow his work, but I haven't in a while. So, are you saying 30 days ago there was? Oh, did he speak about what you shared with him? Is where you're going to with this?
Close. What he did?
Okay.
He had his own health journey, and he almost died.
Oh, really?
And he got up and he said, and I'm not going to go into his health journey, but you should look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
But this is what he said that was so transformational. He says, I'm going to tell you something. He says, I've always said that nutrition, he goes, I've been preaching this for years.
Yes.
Nutrition is the most important thing that you can do. And he goes, I'm here to tell you that's not true. He says, the most important thing you can do is shift your mindset. He says, because if I listened to these doctors, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. He says, I literally shifted my mindset and healed my own body. You can actually take your brain and ask it to heal the body part, and it works. And he got up there and said so. Now, Joe Dispenza has said this. He's a chiropractor. But what I'm saying is, and I'm not saying just like give up and not take your nutrition. And he's not saying that either.
Right.
No one's saying that. What we're saying is you are powerful.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that you said in there that I want to unpack. It is so important. So with my program, I start with a mindset. I truly do because, as the mind thinketh, that's how we are. That's just it. That's scripture. And I'm a faith-based medical doctor because I believe on the word of God.
Me too.
Nutrition, we say 80% of it, 20 is diet, but really it's the foundation. So I don't even want to put a number to it, but you could be eating well. And unfortunately, if your mind is just not in the right place, your food is not absorbent because food is life, it's energy, right?
Mhm.
So if your mind is just on anger, on resentment, and all those other things, that it's just not going to, it's really defeating the whole purpose. So I really agree with that. I do, that people need to shift their mindset. So when I start my programs or when the patients come to me, I want them to feel empowered. I want them to love on themselves. I want them to appreciate what the body can do. I mean, fine, you might have the wrinkles, you might have the stretch marks, but what is your body capable of doing? If you live in despair and hate, then all the others don't work. So I like that you said that, and I will definitely look that up. And I do agree.
And
That
I'll
they
send it
work
to
hand in
you
hand. Yeah, they
if I
work
can.
hand in
I'll
hand
see if I
for
can
sure.
find it. But it's
Yeah.
he's and the thing is, and I posted on there and I said, Dr. Axe, this is what I was trying to tell you.
Did he
And
respond?
he has not. I'm probably going to take that link and send it direct to him.
Okay.
I have his email and
Yeah.
say, look, this is what I was trying to tell you. But what I also understand is I was not supposed to interfere with his journey. He had
Mm.
to find this out for himself.
Yeah. 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 That's
And
right. We
yeah,
do need to be patient with each other because everybody, as you said, we're all on a different journey, and we have to get to that place where we understand it because nobody can do it for us. I mean, they say you take a horse to the river, you can't make it drink, right? So we all have to, I mean, you get the resource, you get the information, and then you have to digest it and see how it applies to you. So I love that you said that. We
thank
just have to
you.
be patient.
Thank you. And I will just say that he's a brilliant mind. I've studied under him since 2014.
Okay.
And so it's almost 10 years. And he's a brilliant mind. And I drove up to learn leadership. Now I've studied leadership for 40. I've
Wow.
been studying leadership since I was 19.
Okay, that's
So he
fantastic.
didn't teach me anything. And I was looking for him to show me something that maybe I didn't know.
Didn't know. Yeah.
And the reason he couldn't teach me anything is because he didn't have the journey yet.
Yeah. That's,
Now
we need
you
to
should
have that
hear
journey.
him go. Like,
That
I'm
is, yes,
beautiful.
yes, yes. And that's why for me, I have that journey. I have doctors that say, well, this is all I've learned. Just take the medication. That's what I went to school for. But I have had the journey. I've seen my life. I've been able to reverse high blood pressure because I was overly stressed, fight or flight mode continuously 24/7. I was able to reverse that. I actually wrote a book that year when I was going through so much, and it was journaling. When you journal, you take yourself from the sympathetic mode to the parasympathetic mode. You live in a world of gratitude, even in the midst of chaos. You pick things because that increases your natural dopamine, a state of gratitude. And oh my goodness, the world just changed around me. Blood pressure finally dropped. So there is power. So yes, we do have to live it to understand it. And I hope that as more people bold enough to live it, that they will share the story and let people know that we're not doomed by our genetics. We're not. Studies now show that genetics is really 2 to 3, I mean 20, I would say 20 to 30%, not what we thought.
Maybe. Yeah, right. Maybe.
If at all 20, yes.
Right.
The issue is the environment, and that's why you talk about water and all the
Epigenetics.
toxins,
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
and the lifestyle. That is what majority, and my analogy is, if you have the gun, it's loaded with the genes, but somebody has to pull the trigger with the lifestyle and the environment. So that's just what we need to understand. I'm so passionate about families because, again, in my home, we've been able to heal out of chronic diseases. And it's important. The foods that we're eating, the activities, kids are not sleeping anymore because there's just so much information on the internet. So yes, yeah, thank you for sharing that book. It was amazing. It saved my life. I had people from Amazon say they read it and it gave them hope. But it gave me hope that, I can actually move to the next level of my journey without being stuck. And a lot of times we're stuck and we don't know that it's causing the blood pressure problems. It's causing the sleepless nights. And we just need to learn how to move from the fight or flight mode into.
Well, let me ask you a question. How did you do that? Because blood pressure is stress, right? It's being told to be seen and not heard. How did you shift that yourself?
Yeah, so thank you for asking that question. So the way I shifted it was really, you have to be still and get into the root cause of the problem. My root cause was stress and emotional eating. I had to learn not to rely on food as my healing process.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say emotional healing, unfortunately, when we say we eat food for pleasure, what does our brain want as a reward? The unhealthy processed foods, the high sugar, the preservatives, the processed foods. And that was what I was eating. So I was
about the bliss point, right? Are you familiar with the bliss point?
Yes. So yes, and that, and even though I grew up eating veggies, I love veggies. I will still eat that, but I will still eat my big cake. I will still eat my cookies.
I don't even think of cake.
Oh, well, that's good.
It's not even. I see it, and when I was on my journey, I imprinted like a skull and crossbones. So I used imagery, and I imprinted skull and crossbones on these store-bought cakes. I do make my own cake out of coconut, and Fagala wants to come up here and talk to you. So I'm gonna hear this, and I'll go downstairs, and you can continue sharing, and I'll bring her up because she's also an intuitive and a healer.
Nice.
But I put a skull and crossbones on these cakes, and I just don't even like it. It's kind of repelling to me, all that sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make me feel good. But the cakes that I make are made with almond and coconut flour.
Nice.
Real fruits in the case of
real food.
Right.
Yeah, which unfortunately is not what we get in our pastries, right? It's all fake food. It's junk food. It's engineered food. So
bioengineered ingredient is the new terminology. I don't know if you saw my video that I did. I did it a year ago, but I just published it. I'm at Whole Foods and I'm taking my phone out, right? And I'm looking. I feel like pie, and I'm taking out my phone. I said, because I go, honey, it's it's in Whole Foods, right? And it says how it's all clean, organic, and whole. And it goes bioengineered ingredient. I'm like, what's on the wall and what's in the fine print?
Yes. I mean, that's why we have to be label readers. I have a video on my YouTube channel about being label readers, and I had to empower my kids because when you share this, they think, oh, you're just making a big deal about it. But anyway, I had to learn how to, even though I was a sweet tooth, grew up a sweet tooth, how to eat nourishing foods, whatever it was that I liked and enjoyed, replace the ingredients with real food that is nourishing for my body. And that really was where it got started. I was able to get off the foods that were not nourishing me, and then learning how to de-stress, going for walks. It was just daily walks I did, lost the weight gradually, and healed my mind. And again, because of my personality, I say that I'm a high achiever. I wanted everything done the right way, the same way every day. And that was stressing me out. And I was in a high level of cortisol, and high level of cortisol preventing me from sleeping. That was just a havoc, causing my arteries were always tensed, it wasn't relaxed. But the journaling helped me relax. Going on those cool walks helped me, cool my mind. So those were the things I did. And gradually I was able to get off the medication. Now, to anyone listening, again, Reverend Jody already said.
I'm with that. I'm going to get Fagala up here.
Okay. And so for everyone listening, again, you want to make sure that we're not advocating for you to get off of your medicine on your own. I didn't on my own. It was with my doctor that we had a conversation. What will be the best thing for me to do? My blood pressure had improved. It had reversed. then I got off. There are periods where you would need it, but you want to remember that that is not the sole treatment. You want to get to the treatment, which is the root cause of whatever is leading to your chronic disease. So if it is diabetes, what is causing the insulin resistance? Is it the food you're eating? Is it lack of exercise? Is it lack of sleep? Because these are all the healthy habits that we talk about. Sometimes even social connection. If you're missing that, there's studies that have shown social connection is one of those things that actually make us live longer, makes us live healthy and longer. Social connections, if that's the root cause, when you treat that, then you will see the symptoms resolved, because that's the thing. The symptoms is just a manifestation. Oh, look at beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And I love the colors. Nice.
Yeah,
Green, green is one of my colors. I love that. Yes, nice.
Say
Yeah.
hi, Nicola, to Dr. Bab. I'm gonna do a little. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Hi back to you. Yeah, so I was just saying, those pillars that I talk about, the nutrition, the physical movement, social connection, so important.
Yeah, I heard the social connection coming up the stairs, and
Yes.
social connection is so key. We need to be hugged. We need to be touched.
Yes.
Lose the 6 feet apart. That was social programming to keep you sick and disconnected. Right?
Yeah, during that period, I said it's so, the distance, yes, physical, with just the physical distance, but we should still be socially connected, because studies have shown that actually makes a difference whether somebody lives longer or not, if you're just, isolated. And again, this has nothing to do with your personality, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. We still need social connection. Well, that's hard to believe that you're both. You're more of an extrovert, in my opinion, but
well, I do push myself to look. My mission is bigger than my personality, right? And honestly, I can be very introverted.
Okay.
But my mission is so important that I stepped out.
That you stepped out. Yes, that's amazing. I mean, I say the same thing too about myself, but I think my whole journey of learning, I'm a lifelong learner, and I will learn from everyone, because they all have something to share, whether what to do or what not to do. So I listen, and so I feel that I started off as an introvert, extrovert, and then there are periods where I know my mission to share and heal, have families heal, because kids are getting older diseases now. My youngest, 9 years old, as a patient, had diabetes, and this is type 2 diabetes. So the mission of sharing the information, what I've been able to grow and learn with my family, I want to share that. So that has made me come out more and speak out. So the other pillars I was about to say, other than social connection, is avoiding risky substances. So the smoking, drinking, all those things, unfortunately, they inhibit us, and they come with friends. So we don't eat healthy, we don't sleep well, and unfortunately, all those toxins, our body doesn't know how to react to it, because again, this body is created in a beautiful fashion, and once it doesn't recognize it, what it does, it turns all those substances into inflammation that deposits in our joints, deposits in areas that we begin to wonder, why am I feeling so fatigued and run down? Unfortunately, it's the inflammation in the body. So those are the things. And then the last
hold on to that part. So
yes,
the inflammation absolutely comes from a poor diet. Yes. And being exposed to different chemicals.
Yes.
I just want to shift mindset here for a moment on that. I used to eat sushi.
Okay.
And growing up in a Jewish household, we had smoked salmon. So it wasn't too much of a shift for me to then think, oh, okay, I could have sushi. Okay. Well, in 1989, New Year's Eve, I had sushi, got very, very ill all night. And that was when and how I got all those parasites.
Okay. Ooh.
And they were with me
Oh,
until the other day. They're now out of my system completely, along with the fungus and the colony that they created. And
oh,
they have their own emotions. They have their own, they're their own,
yeah, yeah,
forgive me for saying this, but they're their own soul, and you are the host,
yes,
right?
yes.
So if you are someone who feels that sometimes your mood gets a little wonky,
Yes.
finding out whether or not you have parasites is a very important component.
Right.
And then I used red light therapy to get rid of the parasites,
Right.
and my Rife machine. And I used the Rife machine to get rid of the fungus.
Okay. Yeah.
And it took about 2 hours of therapy to do it.
Okay.
The first time I tried it a different way, it didn't work, but that's, trial and error.
Trial and error.
And so, but if you think that eating sushi is healthy, if that's the mindset you have, I'm here to shift that for you. And I'm not saying it doesn't taste delicious, but it's a risky, as Dr. Babb said, it is a risky behavior. So risky behavior is not just eating McDonald's or drinking alcohol or smoking a cigarette or a joint. It's also eating a food that appears healthy that really isn't.
Right. Yeah. And we definitely need to, take an inventory of how we feel after we eat a meal. If we're honest, let's just be honest. The only person you can't lie to is really yourself, to be honest. So if you eat something and, it might not be needed, but over a period of how do you feel? What kind of energy level do you get from it? It's not just the taste. How does your body react to it? That's how I've been able to eliminate foods. I remember I was so addicted to Snicker bars, and after I would get the high, and then I would have a massive headache. And I was doing this for so long, and I knew it. I said, it's the Snicker bars. That is what it is. And now I make what I call Snicker bars, but it's with bananas and my nuts and peanut butter.
Wait, you have a recipe for Snicker bars?
Yes, it's bananas. So it looks like I would definitely send it to you. I mean, I saw it online. It's not my own creation, but I modify when I see these things. It gives me ideas. And so myself and my kids, we make up, alternatives. So banana, you just cut the banana, have the peanut butter or almond butter, whichever one has the protein, healthy fat. And then you put your, almonds, whatever, and sprinkle it with coconut. I mean, that looks, and freeze it.
Well, you could use those stevia chocolate chips.
Yeah, yes. And you freeze that, and oh my goodness, delicious. So there's
when I was a child, that's all I ate. And I was an equestrian. And so I remember being at my father had a stable, horse complex in Northbrook, Illinois. And I would run around the horse complex. Snickers, Snickers, Snickers. Mars, because I was raised with people from the UK, and so the O's were never coming out. So I'm like, Snickers, Snickers, Snickers.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, we just have to be honest. And oh my goodness, the headaches would be so massive, and I'll take medication, Tylenol, ibuprofen. But it was the Snickers, because I get that high sugar, and then you crash, you just crash because you have that great, insulin release. And insulin is a fat storer. It stores fat. It goes up high. Whatever is used, and the rest is stored as in your fat cells. And then the crash causes that headache. And I had to be realistic, and I stopped it, and the headaches went away. So when people come in and say they're having migraines, some people are not hydrated. And I would like you to share a little bit about your water, because a lot of my patients that come in, not having headaches is because they're not hydrated. 80% of by water. Right, right.
First of all, you're absolutely right. If you're not hydrated,
right,
you will get headaches, you won't sleep well, you won't function. It's kind of like trying to drive a car without an oil change, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But then there's the other part. If, like, I have a friend of mine who I will tell, hold on, let me just finish, okay? This is her telling me, I want to say something. So if your water has toxins in it, which if you're drinking from the tap in Cobb County and in the Chicagoland area as well, there's 18 to 17 to 18 total contaminants. And 9 of them, I think, in Cobb, and about the same, give or take one, it doesn't make a difference, exceed the EWG.org guidelines. Now, your municipality will absolutely tell you that they meet that they're compliant, and they're not lying. They are compliant with regulations that were created 2 decades ago that no longer apply, and actually didn't even apply 2 decades ago.
Oh gosh, outdated.
Right. So there's that. And then what I want to tell you is that they're all disrupting your hormones and your nervous system. And so of course you're going to have a headache. So, but why don't we just try bottled water, right? Well, bottled water has 38 total contaminants. And the reason they have more is because they're putting it in a plastic bottle, and the petroleum and everything that makes up the BPA or the BPS that makes up that bottle is now leaching into your water. So you're actually getting more water or more contaminants in your water when you buy it bottled. And oh, spoiler alert, it's 1,900 times more expensive than just doing your tap. 1,900 times more expensive. And then there's these other symptoms that are symptoms. It is symptoms, but kind of systems that are being sold. And I feel like they're taking people for a ride because they're promoting like keywords like alkaline, or they're promoting like these that get your attention. Oh, I need to do this, and it should cost me a lot of money. It doesn't need to cost you a lot of money. I mean, yes, you can spend $1,900 on a whole house water filtration system, and you can work up to that, or you can start right away. But when I started, it was $300, right? My shower head was $85. Actually, it was cheaper then by $5, but it was $85. And then the countertop was, I think, like $189, or I mean, it's less than $200. So you're spending less than $300, including tax and shipping. And now you're fueling your body with the most important thing. And the other thing is the reverse osmosis. If your electricity goes out, so does your water. Right? And the second thing about reverse osmosis is it's pulling out those minerals, which are key for your brain health.
Yeah.
And so then a lot of people go, well, I get a generator. Well, some of us don't want to afford a generator. That's number one. And number two, why would you take the minerals out?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all those little things that add up to prevent us or lead us towards optimal well-being. All of those things add up. So definitely the quality of the water that we drink, what we're even drinking, cutting back on the sugary drinks, the juices, you're having a smoothie, and if you don't read it, you'll be amazed how many added sugar, in terms of one, just one, you have 4 grams of sugar. 1 teaspoon is 4 grams of sugar, and you see drinks that they're calling healthy with almost 30 grams of sugar. So it's
really, how much you should have in a week.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. So those are the things that we need to learn in terms of our self-care. How do we nourish our bodies with the water, the quality of the water, the foods that we eat, the physical activity, going out for nature, just being in a healthy environment, sleeping, all those things that we spoke about is really what would give us that ability to stay in an optimal well-being state of life, which again is where we want to be, to reverse all those chronic diseases.
Well, and I couldn't agree with you more. And you going back to the juices and kombucha. Now, I'm a big fan of, I love your background, by the way, all those.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I'm a big fan of kombucha.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of label reading.
Oh yes, I am. I've learned the hard way. Not everything that they claim is healthy. You have to, and people need to learn what to look for. I think that's important. So very quickly, please just look and see how much sugar is in there. If it says added sugar, protein, an ideal meal, you definitely want to make sure it's more than 5 grams. When we talk about fiber, please look for fiber 3 grams or more. But most importantly, the number of ingredients that is it. If it's so long and you can't read it, you can't pronounce it, it's a processed meal, anything in a box. So those are the things to look out for, and then the saturated and the calories. Importantly, people say, I don't know how to read labels. Well, that's the simple way to start. How much sugar is in it? What's the protein? What's the fiber? But the good news is that if you eat whole foods, you don't even have to, it's not going to come with ingredients other than one or two.
And that's just the thing. But, I teach people about getting the fermented foods into their, for gut health, right?
Yes.
And I love having kombucha, and they come in these big bottles. Mm-hmm. And what I want to let people, so we put them in our smoothies, and we don't do the whole bottle. Mm-hmm. We're doing 2 ounces. Into a smoothie that's split into 4 cups.
Nice.
You see? And so let's say there's 16 sugars, but there's 0 added sugar. So I'm not getting pain.
That's right. You're getting the natural. So if you're having the natural sugar, the people complain about natural fruit, it's sugar, but it's natural. It's not, it's not the sugar that you get engineered. That's different. Your body welcomes that. Your body understands what it is, right? And processes it well compared to the engineered sugar. So there's a difference. So yes, to your point, as long as you don't have added sugars, just look out for it. If it has added sugar, that's not beneficial for the body.
Well, and I want to add to your point about the fiber. The fiber is critically important because I've often shared that you want you don't want to you want to be the food processor, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to have processed foods. You want to eat a whole food so your body actually does the processing. Because if it's not processing, then it is spiking those sugar levels.
Right, and it's causing inflammation. Yes.
This is not enough time for us. I mean, so what I want to do is invite people to connect with Dr. Babb. You're in Marietta, right?
Yes.
Marietta, Georgia.
Yes.
She is simply brilliant. I mean, if you haven't figured that out now, I don't know what that will take.
Thank you.
And, she is a divine child of God who is here to serve the world, in a way that'll really you serve humanity. And I want to just, in a way that fuels everyone's soul, right?
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for what you're doing and for being a stand for people's health and for having that MD. I mean, that's being an MD and serving people's health. Wow.
I'm grateful, totally grateful for the journey. And I appreciate you too. I'm glad that our paths crossed. You are, words cannot even allow me to share just how a breath of fresh air and also your passion to enlighten people and share with people, intrigued about the water. You've shared so much, and it's an eye opener. So thank you for all the great work that you do and giving me the opportunity to come on your platform to collaborate with you. That's the important.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have fun. So you have, first of all, I'm doing the walk with the doc on December 9th.
Yes.
But what are some other events you have before we unfortunately need to close up, but what can we share with people? And if you have any links that you want to share in the private chat, I'll post them.
Perfect.
And so people can connect with you here or online.
Yes. Well, again, I have a direct primary care practice, and all that means is a membership-based practice. I get to spend enough time as needed with my patients, and that's what I love the most, where I get to sit down with my patients and get to the root cause, this holistic, whole person approach. We already mentioned about the Walk with a Dog. So my practice partners with Walk with a Dog, where we go out for a community walk. I'm so passionate about community building. I do that once a month, and it's a second Saturday, 9 to 10. We talk about health-related topics, right? And we go for a walk. Other things I have, because I do weight wellness as an obesity medicine trained, I talk about the mind because it's so important, but I also have an in-body scan. If anyone is interested in that, I
what?
get the link. In-body scan. It's called an in-body 570 scan. So it gives you information more than what the scale will tell you. It'll tell you if there's visceral fat, if how much of your skeletal muscle, how much fat is deposited. It gives you whether you have inflammation in your body. So it's very comprehensive. I love it because it gives you a lot of information that is well needed to support your optimal well-being. So I do have that, and I do have some courses and programs which I've already put the link. You can
Good. I'm trying to go through your site, as you can see here.
Yes.
And I will post your links now. Let me go to private chat.
Thank you very much for having me. This is fantastic. And to all the listeners, thank you for listening in. It's been a great honor here. And for the questions that have come true, it shows that people really want to shift their health and wellness. And that's good to know.
Well, yeah, I think, first of all, the consciousness of the universe has really raised, right? And people, look, what the last few years taught people was that they need to really lead themselves. And I do think that some of us are a little afraid of leading ourselves yet. And so we can lead the way and show them how to lead themselves first.
Yes, that's right. Well said. Well said. I couldn't have said it better.
So next week, which is the day before my 60th birthday.
And happy birthday, by the way. That is, you look wonderful. When I heard you say your age, I was like, it's impossible. But again, that shows the life that you're living.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like, and I've been through some major health concerns this last year. I do believe that it's God has a plan. Like he wanted me to rid my body of certain thought forms and frequencies so I could really just be the peace that I'm manifesting for the world. He says you can't manifest peace without really releasing all this stuff.
Yeah.
So this year was a very challenging opportunity to really look at, why do I have this disease or that disease, release it as a frequency from my body. I wasn't upset about it. I was just like looking at, okay, so this was a frequency I have and I carry. Now it's time to release it so I can lead the world.
That's right. Very good. I'm glad you did.
So I put your link up here. Oh, this is your link tree. Awesome.
Yes. I've had all the different programs and things that I have, resources, free resources about nutrition and all the different organizations that provide evidence-based. That's important because there's so much information on the internet. Sometimes we get inundated with it, but I do provide information that is evidence-based and supports gut health, those questions that were asked and things that I've used in myself and with my family and with patients.
So I'm actually going to bring this up, and I know we're just a few minutes over. I hope that's okay. So here's Living at Your Finest, complimentary meet and greet, all the social media platforms.
Yeah, and that's free copy. They can download that ebook. Yes, so they can download that. And that would be great. And then, of course, the different courses on my page, the resource page, there's a link there to.
On the free ebook? Yeah.
So the ebook, yes, they can download that. It has information, general information, but on my website, if they go under the resource page, there are different evidence-based websites that.
Okay.
So resources, if you go to the resources right there.
Okay, so I'm going there. Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop this screen share, go in here. And so I'm going to, let me see. No, not that one. The coaching and courses. Is that where I'm going, Dr. Bev?
So it says resources.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, that one right there. Yes. So,
Resources.
right. So if you go
Oh, look at this.
yeah, so you see all of that. If you go under lifestyle medicine materials, if you click that one right there, it
Mhm.
has,
It's there. You go.
yeah, so it has all those resources at the bottom. Yeah, so all of those and books, you know, these are all
Oh, this is my favorite book. How Not to Die.
yeah.
So do you want to tell the world what the number one way that people die?
Oh my gosh. It's just lack of knowledge and knowing what to do, really. It's
Well,
the,
it's by doctor. So the number one way that people perish is through mistakes made by doctors.
yeah, make the mistakes and medication too. Unfortunately, side effects, polypharmacy. So
Which is led by the doctor.
which is led by the doctors. But I'm hoping that they will do another study and that will shift and that will change. But yes, that really, for many years, I'm hoping that that has changed because a lot of doctors now are just sick and tired of it. And they are getting empowered and getting the training that is well needed. So, yes, definitely.
I love it. There's another good book you might want to add.
Okay.
So my girlfriend, Dr. Kristen Willemeyer,
Okay.
wrote the book Biohack Your Brain.
Okay. I'll write that down.
And so she used to work with Amen Clinics, and she created their nutrition line.
Okay. Okay.
She's
Perfect.
brilliant. We went to the same high school in Barrington.
Nice, nice. Well, thanks for sharing that with me. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah. So we are going to end the show because I guess we're a little bit over. I'm really grateful that you shared your wisdom. Same with that. Oh, she has something she needs to say. Hold
Okay,
on.
I'm all ears.
Okay, what is it that you want to say? I hear you. Okay, so it's very important, actually. And
I love this. This is my first podcast, I would say, with, oh my gosh, I love it. Thank you. I feel so honored. Thank you
she's
both.
saying
Yes.
that she says, lead each day, I hear you, with gratitude.
Yes.
She said the gratitude alone, first of all, will raise the consciousness of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And she says gratitude will shift your mindset and make you feel happier. And the more grateful you are for even, she says, the hard lessons, she says, then you are opening up a space to bring in more love, more abundance of all the things that you're looking for. And she says, sometimes it's hard to shift and go to gratitude. She says, do what my mommy does and use either a gratitude journal, she says, or put on the countertop, like what we have downstairs, a gratitude jar.
Nice.
And leave a pad of paper there and a pen, and each day write at least 3 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And she says, and make that a consistent way of being. And she goes, watch how your life unfolds into greatness that maybe you don't even think is possible. Is that, no, it's not complete. You're just talking. Okay. Okay, what else? I'm tired, honey.
I love all those ideas. I love it. Yeah, definitely the 3 items. I do that every evening. It really helps to ground me just before bedtime. And with my kids, when we're praying at 9, we try to do our best to do that. And I tell them, what was your high point? 3 things you're grateful for. So yes, awesome. And we all, as even listeners, I'm hoping that if they're not already doing that, that they give it a try.
I just got the second part of the message.
Okay.
So you said, what are the high points?
Yes,
right?
yes.
What she's telling me to share
Okay.
is look at those low points and be grateful for the lesson within that.
Yes, absolutely.
She says, if you can do that, she goes, it's huge. Is that what she says? It's huge. She goes, when you start looking at things that happen she says, change your language. She goes, something, let's say, happens that you don't like. It didn't happen to you, it happened for you.
For you. Yes, it
And she
happened
says,
for
look
you.
at that.
Yes.
Then if you look at that it's happening for you, you can see the lesson and have gratitude, and you'll get more love, and you can release that lesson and move on.
Nice.
Is
Yeah.
that complete?
High points and awesome. A round of applause.
Woo!
A round of applause. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I am going to run the outro banner here, and I hope you will come back.
Oh,
and share more.
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right.
Take care.